Alright, hello. This is season 32. I'm Kubu. Dominion League. We are um, playing in the first match of the season, or even before the season started, against Phika, who has been demoted from A last season. So this is going to be a very tough match. Mm. Alright, and we have a board. The board, it has some draw with livery and map maker. It has a village in sacrifice question mark. A very questionable village and in contract and a captain, but the captain cannot really play any village e cards. So this might be a little difficult to get going, but looks doable. Like you could remake horses into fours and then get more horses from that, and it's like it spins like and spins its way into being playable. And we also have Fellowship of Scribes that contracts. I'll probably play with contracts anyway. So for the village effect and the Fellowship of Scribes helps you draw, especially if you're under a cutthroat attack or like playing a bunch of non-terminals. Anyways, I think this board really requires to be thinned down. But I also want to hit price points, so this is a little tough. I think I mean, I'm not sure if I want a remake. I'm pretty sure I want a moneylender in this deck, just because this hits price points. So I might just like open with a moneylender and a silver over a remake, because as much as I do want to get Finn, I want to get a captain early. So I think this is my ticket to a captain early, is a moneylender, rather than a remake. And like I can remake the moneylender later into a 5, which I want to be doing anyway. That's why I want to be buying the high cost cards. You could argue for a map maker, I suppose. Alright, oh, I guess there's Captain Squirrel, right? That. But that really, only really works against Cutthroat. Alright, so here's the question. What do I do? The choice is between map maker and remake. I just don't want freeze, right? Yeah, I just don't really want a remake. Oh my god, I just missed everything. That is lovely. Alright, let's get a second map maker and then I can start squirreling or something. I don't know. My opponent is remaking into silvers. Just fair enough. Wait, why is something want something from me? Oh, because I'm talking to myself and I'm muted. Okay, yes. Oh, that is a fair concern. Alright, moneylender, use a favor, get a captain. Finally, I can have a captain. Is that what has been pinged? Yes, this is what has been pinged to me. Alright, well, hopefully this mapmaker doesn't draw a captain, because I would like to have it in the shuffle now. This is still sort of not terrible. Like, I have a captain, my opponent doesn't. My opponent only fint one more card than me. Which I was happy to accept, and they have not hit 6 at all. So I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah, I would like to get rid of these estates, but I would like to get rid of them for Leprechaun, so that my sacrifices played with captains have targets. Which is why I wasn't really excited about remake in the first place. Is there any green cards that you could gain? I mean, you could gain duchies of trashing 4s so that you can play map makers. This just sounds horrendous. Okay, that's a nice draw because I get to play a second captain. I think I get rid of this moneylender now. It really doesn't accomplish that much. And I would like to have a livery. Right, all that's going, and I think that's also going. I'd like to have a livery, I'd like to have a contract, and I would like to have a cutthroat. All of these cards are pretty exciting. Um, It's a very good question of which one do I want. I don't know if I have the terminal space for livery. I mean, I'm trying to sacrifice some leprechauns, is what I'm trying to do, so let's grab a contract. Just because I think that would fit what I'm trying to do the most. Right, I could sacrifice this map maker. That sounds very spinny, and I'm not sure if it's good at all. I could also just play a captain as... Oh no, I'm gonna get cutthroated next turn, right? I would like to play a remake. I would like to get rid of all of this garbage for more leprechauns, because they will be trash to sacrifice at some point. A 4 cost, sure, let it be map maker. I could just play this as moneylender, squirrel the map maker. This doesn't sound very great. We'll also just like throw another leprechaun into the mix for moneylendering this. That sounds pretty good. Oh no. Guess I can play a map maker here. Actually, I'm perfectly happy with this hand. What am I talking about? Because I'm discarding 2 out of this. There's a lot of leprechauns in there, and it's not gonna be a captain in play, so... There is a map maker down there, right? So I can contract a map maker. Probably. Unless I don't get attacked. Which, I mean, I think I'm still supposed to play the map maker and then contract the map maker. Here. And I do not want to play this leprechaun, so I am just gonna buy a captain. And I do not want a squirrel because my opponent has a cutthroat. Alright, so I'm discarding probably copper here. Realistically, it's probably copper. Yeah, and then I can sacrifice a leprechaun that I'll hopefully find. It's... I don't know if this is sustainable, I haven't figured it out, but it's just funny, and I will always go with funny. So, there we go. I'm gonna play that, find myself a leprechaun. I could play sacrifice, play it on the leprechaun. I could find myself a second leprechaun. I think that is what I want to do. And I'd like to find this estate, play myself a sacrifice, goodbye leprechaun. Oh, wait, I get to activate a leprechaun too. That is amazing. Oh, that is very funny. Hmm. Let's get rid of this. Let's get more leprechauns in my deck because these are plus actions, and let's get horses. I could use Fellowship of Scribes to draw a card here. I don't remember what this last card is. Um, I have no idea what this last card could be, so I probably shouldn't. Probably should just press continue. And this activated the leprechaun. And I'm probably done buying cards. This is quite unfortunate, but also I'm fine with it because I can just play a map maker. And I have one more leprechaun that I can delete. Um, but I do need to play a livery at some point to make this functional. And I also need to get rid of all of this copper. Oh, I can wish for a cutthroat here because my opponent is squirreling. And I do not like when my opponent is squirreling. Alright, I want a livery and I want to get rid of that. And I could do a moneylender, I could do a remake. I need to get a plus buy if I were to. I think I just need to get rid of these coppers at a rather rapid pace. So I think I'm just gonna remake them. Because I'm just not getting anything out of them and it costs me terminal space to do any of the shenanigans. Alright, let's play livery. Let's wish for another. I mean, I could wish for a cutthroat and attack my opponent and be very mean. I think what I'm supposed to do is wish for a captain because that helps my deck a lot better. Play a map maker. Am I one action off being able to activate this leprechaun? I am. That's very unfortunate. So I guess I just play this. I could play this leprechaun anyway because it gives me a horse. How bad of an idea is that? Can it get me a victory card? No, it cannot, right? On accident. But I want to preserve this map maker. Just in case, because the copper doesn't really do anything. Just in case something really bad happens when I play this. Oh yeah. That's fine. I also want to set aside this map maker and probably buy another captain so that I can sacrifice more horses and maybe, I don't know, so that I can sacrifice cards. This is a hell of a engine. I did not disrupt my opponent's plans, but which they're trying to do mostly the same thing that I'm doing, but worse, I guess. I do need to be aware that I need to be printing some more horses so that I have sacrifice fodder. And also the fact that I've missed out on the leprechaun activation isn't great. Yeah, but I really need the sacrifice fodder. I mean, Mapmaker maybe makes for a sacrifice fodder too. There's definitely a chance that I get to gain and play a wish this turn. I do also would like a tiara, but gaining a tiara is pretty easy for me, just because I can remake a horse into a tiara at any point. So yeah, I don't think that's that much of a problem. I mean, I can top deck horses with tiara. I still don't think my opponent is there because they haven't gained a leprechaun. It's like they don't really have any of the things that like make the deck good here, I would say. Yeah, I think they're like way over terminals still. Yeah, but they tiara the figurehead and they bought two captains. Okay, so they have a reasonable amount of captains. I don't think I'll use these Fellowship of Scribes things. I think I'll play a sacrifice on a horse so that I can have terminal space to play all of these captains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd like to get rid of this copper. I think I'm gonna sacrifice another horse. So I'd like to play a livery before I do anything else. 5. So if I sacrifice another horse, I can play a leprechaun. Here. I'm down. Play a leprechaun. Alright, my opponent did not squirrel anything, so like I'm not super interested in blowing their things up. What's in my discard? Copper, gold, wish, gold. Okay. And two horses, right? Oh no, one horse. Copper, I think I'm happy to play this map maker then. Actually, am I? Not really, because then I need to sacrifice with a... Like if I want to gain a livery or something, I need to sacrifice with a captain. I think I'm gonna play one captain as map maker. See what I get. I got a wish, which is nice. And do I want the gold? What do I want to be the other card? I really want to remake the map maker into something better, but into like another livery and then wish for a tiara. Then I would do this, right? Because like wishing for things gives me more things, and that's great. Oh, wishing gives me more things. So it's like, I mean, I think these are the takes. No matter what I do, this is a complicated kingdom, and I haven't played Dominion for a while, so it's like I need a little bit of time. For this, I mean, I could wish for a livery, remake both of these cards into better cards, and like have deck control. And I could also wish for a tiara and buy two things. And then top deck all of the horses that I get from buying that. It's only two horses, but it's better than nothing. Don't think drawing these cards does me any good right now. I think I'm just gonna wish for a tiara. I could remake both of these cards into better cards. Both of these actions into better actions. And that gives me horses back. That's gotta be right. But then I'm not using my terminal space very well. But it's whatever. I guess I don't need to delete this horse. But then I'm just... It's just free, right? It's like it's just horse neutral. I think that's good. And I think I want another livery. Use one of these favors. Oh, that didn't really do anything except for get the gold off top of my deck. I could start greening here. I could keep building. Not sure what's right. I think I should grab a cutthroat just to have that advantage over my opponent. Livery, top deck the horse. Don't top deck the cutthroat. And I could buy a province here. Is that something that's worth doing? Or is it just like another livery? I think my opponent's deck is still not like particularly well set up to do magic here. It's not set up at all to do magic, in fact. Unless... What's my opponent's plan here? I mean, they can activate a leprechaun as a captain. That's about the extent of the things they can do, though. I guess if you can get 7 cards in play, you can activate a lot of leprechauns. So I don't think I did. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I don't. Not really. No, I don't have it. I'm just really slow here. I think I'm just gonna grab a province. Am I? So not in my style. No. It's like my opponent isn't threatening anything, so I should be buying cards that are good, right? It's like good for me, like livery. The third livery is a little overkill. I'm fine with overkill. Livery, top deck the horse, and I think I'll top deck the livery as well. I have 4 captains in play, okay. I'll discard the gold, and I'll discard the horse. Because I need to be able to sacrifice horses to get my draw engine thing going. I'd like to play as many liveries as possible before I leprechaun. Yeah, my opponent is like drawing deck, but I think they're just doing less stuff, so therefore I'm winning. Yeah, no, this kingdom is a little too complicated for me. I don't understand it very well, so yeah, it's just difficult. I do need to be discard attacking them, especially into this next turn when they like. Ooh, yeah, that's not what you want to see. Yeah, this next turn their deck was not very good, I think. So I need to take advantage of that, right? Well, I'm sacrificing some horses. Let's draw a card too. Well, we can. I like to Fine, probably more horses. I don't have to feel bad about sacrificing them so much. Hmm. Do I have enough terminal space to do whatever I want to do here? I think so. Oh, okay. Well, that makes it easy. I did say that their deck is not gonna be very good because their setup wasn't great, so I think that happened to be true, and their hand was just a dud. Oh, Marchland. Yeah, I did not have like as disappointing as that might sound, I did not have very high hopes for Marchland. Um, yeah, it's a green card. I don't value green cards. I'm sorry to all the Marchland fans out there. Um, I will be opening Silver Hunting Party or Sea Witch. I'll be opening Silver Sea Witch, I think. And then I'll be grabbing ropes because you need to trash in Sea Witch Kingdoms. And also I'll be getting more Sea Witches. Which I love that curses are getting shuffled into my shuffle. I think I wouldn't mind another silver. Merchant might come in handy here just because you're gonna have a lot of garbage in your hand most of the time, so discarding it isn't quite bad. Hunting party, that's sensible. Alright, we lose. Exciting. That was a game of Dominion. Yeah, maybe we don't lose if we drew 4 here. That was definitely a game of Dominion though. Always trashing this curse. Man, I do not like it. It's just I do not like kingdoms like this. Right, let's get a hunting party so that I can hopefully find my sea witches better. And my ropes and all of the good stuff and not curses. Which I think I trashed my only curse that's not this one, right? Is that what 2VP says? No, I have another curse. Okay, so this could find a curse technically. I'm gonna grab another hunting party and hopefully not collide my sea witches. Maybe I should go more heavy on the trashing actually. Just like there is tomb in this kingdom. Like I can trash a lot to score points and like trash and just like do the stuff in circles. I missed. Fine, I'll grab a silver. Just, this is not great though. I mean, both of my sea witches are out of the shuffle. This is awful. I hate this. I really need the hunting party to just like go past the shuffle. My opponent might seize and give me a curse or something. It's just like, ugh. Well, I do not have hunting party in this hand, so yeah, I have a hunting party. Exciting. I can't even seize reasonably. I'm down on minstrels. Jesus, this is awful. I'm not hitting price points. It's just man. The last kingdom was so much better than this one. Oh, they just triggered an awful shuffle. That's probably not gonna matter. As they can actually find their cards while I am just sitting here. No. We have equal amounts of ropes, right? They're just up a minstrel, and they've trashed one more card, and they've given me like more curses, probably. No, no, they've trashed one more card, which is in a state, but they've also given me curses, which means I have curses and they don't, and it's all over. Yay, first player. Lovely. Feel like I'm complaining too much. But also, like, come on. It's not a fan of this game. Not a fan at all of how this game played out. Like, do I add a mine? I don't even know. I could add a mine because it scores 1 point at the time. They just like try to get creative or something. But there's Seize the Day. It's like, I mean, I don't think my opponent can buy Seize and Honey Party. It's just there's no time for anything, right? Like, because the curse pile is empty, the ropes are almost empty, and the Honey Parties are at 4. I think if my opponent just seizes and buys a Honey Party, I can never win, basically. Just because they take a turn next turn, they trash a bunch more cards, they buy another Honey Party and a rope, and they set up to buy 2 Honey Parties. It's just like, I can't do anything. Like, I can't beat that, really. Because, well, they have trashed all the cards. Alright, well, they didn't buy Seize this turn. Oh my god, okay. Well, there's at least something. Merchland is buy neutral. I don't think it's a good buy. They bought a Sea Witch. Okay, whatever. I mean, they can do whatever they want because they're winning, obviously. Whatever, we're gonna score some points with this. I mean, I'm buying a mine. I'm not any better, really. It's just like... And I guess the sewage makes sense because it increases their hand size better than a hunting party would, and they have the village space for it, sure. And they also just guarantees that their turns go off. Yes, I don't think I lose to Seas just yet. I think I lose to Seas very soon. I'm also down 2 ropes. Oh my god. They didn't discard a rope, no. No, they didn't draw any of their silvers. I guess that's fortunate for me. I think I'd be buying coppers if I would, to trash. Okay, well, they don't wanna. Fair enough. I think I'll grab a minstrel. Alright, well, let's pitch these. Oh god. That's a hell of a shuffle that I'm about to trigger. Silver, minor, open, copper. Reveals their hand, reveals a hunting party, discards copper, silver, rope. Discards 2 curses in the copper. Yeah, it's a hell of a shuffle that I'm about to trigger, so I probably need to not trigger it. Is there a way? It's a copper. I have not trashed an estate, Jesus. It's copper, estate, 2 curses, copper, silver, and a rope. That's 8 stop cards. Um, I'm very tempted to just take the risk and just draw into it because I think I need to have reasonable buys here. And I have 6 coins right now, and I need to have 9 coins. Yeah, whatever. We're just doing it. That's just... I don't think I get to play this. This is... Oh god, I just miscounted, right? There were 2 more cards in that discard than I thought there were. Okay, whatever. Well, my opponent can take advantage of that, knowing how terrible my hand is. How are there 2 more cards in that discard that I've missed? Where were they? Copper, uh, copper estate, 2 curses on a copper, then a copper silver rope. Oh, there were another 2 coppers down here. Okay. Well, I lost anyway, so I will respectfully resign here. Alright. What do we have here? This is a university kingdom, which like that makes it very gainy. Like there's a lot of gains of university. What's the trashing? It's just sanctuary and oh, you can't trash dual decks. Oh, there's bishop to trash dual decks. That's way later though. Okay. I mean, I think we still do that because trashing dual decks is pretty good, but that's like way, way later. I could vary something. It's this kingdom looks a little awkward actually. Because I think you really want to play with university just because Swamp Shacks wants you to have a lot of cards in deck and so do the plus buy cards. But on the other hand, you kind of want to get Finn too. Alright, what happens if I Fairy Sanctuary and Open Sanctuary? Is that ever a real play? This does not sound very real to me. I guess castles are pretty good with Sanctuary, aren't they? But like Sanctuary doesn't benefit you from exiling cards, so you're not actively getting those cards to exile them. So they're not that good. And there's Fleet, so there's gonna be a lot of VP. Okay, so like if I Fairy Sanctuary and buy Sanctuary, then it's like... Yeah, no, then I start very slowly exiling things, and it's just very slow. But what are my I think my alternative is opening Potion and then doing University, and then Finning is also slow, and I don't really get to see my University that often. And if I open Fairy Sanctuary, I can probably exile an estate, buy a potion, and another Sanctuary. And then I can be pretty thin, and I see my University pretty often, and that gains patrols, and then my deck starts like popping off. Alright, I think I like that a little more than opening Potion. Yeah, I don't think opening Bishop is a real thing. Okay, that's also a line. But I think I want to stay consistent. Oh, that's not something that I considered at all. This was my line always. Alright, then we exile the 2 cards that I draw. No, my opponent has 2 universities. That's not great for me. Here's the problem, right? I guess I don't have enough payload in this deck, so I need to throw in a silver question mark. I don't really want to be throwing in a silver. Maybe I've played this wrong. I could throw in a 3rd sanctuary and just like stick to the plan of I'm just gonna exile everything. Sure, let's just stick to the plan. And just get like 1 or 2 patrols and try to rely on dual deck bishop for payload. I guess my opponent is just saying, I don't care that you exile everything if you're gaining a bishop at some point. Whatever. We're gonna play with that card anyway, might as well gain it. I think I press don't exile here, just in case I also threw in a patrol. Actually, I think I just need to pass here and do a university because I can't really trigger that shuffle. Yeah, well, I guess we're just like throwing things at the... I think I'm just gonna grab the jewel dags and hopefully get a bishop at some point. Or maybe my opponent gets a bishop first. Like, I've definitely went for the get thin quick strategy. Which I'm not sure how good that is in retrospect. I mean, I can get a bishop here and start thinning out the eggs. I only have 1 patrol, right? Still. So it's like, I can't really draw from my deck very well. Grab a bishop. Alright, that's nice. Can sank this out. I can sank this copper out. I can't sank anything else out. If I want the university, which I do. Let's grab more patrols, more universities. Oh my, that's incredible that I go for all this thinning and I draw a hand like this, actually. I don't know, like, I don't think my approach was very good, but I don't think this is what's supposed to happen with my approach, too. I think this is... I mean, maybe it happens to my opponent, right? Like, they have exiled 2 cards. So it's like... I've exiled 8. I thought I really think that I went for the safer approach, didn't I? Like, I don't understand. I mean, at least they don't really have any cards in hand still. They have a lot more cards in their deck, though. And do they have all the Swamp Shacks, or do they choose to gain a Swamp Shack at the end? No, I chose to gain 1 Swamp Shacks, okay. I do not even have a jewel deck in my hand. That's... Oh. It just makes me sad. I mean, I'm convinced that I can draw with whatever the hell is in my deck now. Think I should exile the potion too? Mm, sure. Put two Sangs in there. Alright, there is the Swamp Shocks. I can draw the copper first. Throw in more bishops. Exile, play this. Trash that. Alright, we got there. That's a terrible one. Thanks, game. Right, well, my next turn is good. Am I gonna have a next turn? Who knows? Right, this is 7. I could do 2 eggs plus 2 castles. I don't think I want to do 3 castles. And I don't think my opponent can end. I have 3 loots. Oh, there's 4 jewel decks in the trash. I can only have 2 loots. They have like 4 seconds. I mean, maybe they can end. I don't know. They should be like this. Yeah, I don't think they can. I'm just scared. Like, I don't know what their deck is capable of. I know I'm gonna have a good next turn because of whatever. Yeah, they have a lot of universities, right? So it's like not unreasonable for me to assume that they can end. Like they gain 3 Sangs and a patrol, and then they buy a jewel decks and patrols. It's like that's a card. I mean, it's a pretty decent card. Like I'm not gonna say it's not. I think they also need to buy fleet. Yeah, I guess that like gains payload, which is like one of the ways to gain payload. That's like not slow. Also, small castle is an action card. That's kind of notable with university. In case they gain crumbling and they don't gain small. And there is also some argument to just like gaining things with university to trash them with bishop, like gaining bishops or gaining mountain villages or whatever. Like that is something that happens in this kingdom. Havens, the one haven they have is kind of nice to power up swamp shacks at this stage. Hmm. Yeah, right. I know I feel like my commentary is not that insightful because it's just like a lot of random observations, but I don't really think I can like put it together. Like I don't like that's how my brain functions, and like a lot of random observations that like might not be connected to each other. So and I I just have really hard time communicating what the reason, what the conclusion is out of these observations, which is yeah, I I just struggle with that, I guess. They've gained a haven. Yeah, makes sense. Just makes their stuff consistent, right? Like I understand. Um, yay. Fleet, yeah. And then they buy out the eggs. Right, that's an idea. Um, right. So I can have 15 coins, I would imagine, if I put some effort into it. Like Jack or whatever. Oh, I actually need to think of this stuff. Huh. This I want to buy the free castles. And I don't think I can force an end. But like if I buy the free castles, then I think like they are gonna have a pretty hard time doing anything. I just need to make sure that my next hand is also consistently decent, which I think I guess that's like gaining 2 havens. And I also want a jack and I want the swamp shacks. And I can haven some sanctuaries or whatever. Maybe just 1 haven. Yeah, let's start with a swamp shocks. I think I'm like not Dominion active enough to understand how to play this endgame recently. Like, haven't been Dominion active enough. Let's do that. I know what that entails. That entails they don't really have anything going on. Those. Can maybe grab a second jack. Don't actually know how to like. I'm completely unsure on how to play this. Just gonna do this. Do I want to play both the jacks? Let's find out what's this. Shield. Okay. I probably want to exile the Humble. I'm gonna see my next hand first. Nine, 10, 12. These two. These two figureheads. 10, 12, 14, 15. So I could just trash a jack here. I could just play the jack, like keep the jack around and trash a silver for 1 less point. I think I'd much rather do that. Trash. Think I want the plus buy, just in case. Think I'm gonna set aside a Sank because that helps me more than a Shack in case of a dud. And I think I'm just... Oh, wait, no. I'm not supposed to play this. Alright. Counting. Ugh. Oh god. 2, 4, 7, 10, 13, 15, 16. God, okay. Did I count the bishop? 6 plus 6, that's 12. That's 15. Okay, so the silvers. If I trash the silver, why is counting so hard for me? 1, 3, then it's another 9. Then I need this Hamble castle. Okay, so I can't really exile it if I want to buy all the castles. Alright, so I'm not exiling it. Okay, I just like needed to freaking triple check that. And if one haven is enough, but this is what we're doing. We're scoring a lot of points with that. Okay, that's... I think that's a good enough hand. Because for trashing bishops or jacks or like whatever I gain of university for points. And the castles are providing some extra payload, so that's very nice. Oh, and I can use small to activate to get opulent and like trash crumbling, get opulent, and then get a lot of green discarded, and this is the double figurehead turn. So my next turn is very good, assuming that I get that. Should I not? Just you never know. I guess I only get to discard what? Haunted, Haunted and the other one. And the small, and the gold castle, which is not that much. Chalice is terrible. That's cool. I think I want to force an end next turn, actually. Yeah, I should probably force an end next turn. I could technically trash a small so that I get to discard a little more, but that doesn't sound very good. Yeah, the first Shax is not very inspiring, but that's fine. Did I ruin their deck a little bit by attacking? I might have. It's just like this start looks uninspiring. I don't think I ruined it that much because they only played one Shax. It did some work. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I guess I just need to wait and see. I think there is like at least one Shax in their hand and their turn is totally fine. Yeah, okay. Their turn looks very, very fine. Sword is very mean. Sure. I wonder if I can use Jack for draw. It's probably a little ambitious, isn't it? Are they forcing an end? It's like by gaining all of these sanctuaries and making ending for me very easy. So I think they're forcing an end here. Which I am perplexed by because I don't think they can score a whole lot. Maybe they have a lot of coins. I don't know. Oh no. As an info revealing undo, you didn't know that it would be a silver. Why did they grant that? I definitely shouldn't have. Oh well. Uh, just kidding. Um, yeah, but they are definitely, yeah. Okay, goodbye, Bishop. Think they're ending, which I am very confused by. I mean, either they're ending and they're like giving me 2 turns, which is like neither of these options sound particularly good. So I do not know what the deal is. Oh, they have a copper. Fascinating. Oh. Womp womp. There is a fleet. um. Hmm. They forget about the fleet. I. I wonder. Or do they think that they can just outscore? Maybe they just think that they can outscore me. I guess I go for max points then. I do need to play the Shocks, which is not ideal. How many cards are there in play? Okay, so I do it like this. There's no point exiling the Haunted Castle for me, right? Oh wait, I need to draw the patrol too. Right. Maybe I draw the patrol first then. I think I want at least one Shocks, then I want like bishops, probably. There's no point in exiling anything. I wanted to trash this small for like payload, but I guess that's not happening. Three, 6, 9, 10, 11. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Okay. No, I don't want that on top. No trash. Oh, I'm done. That's very unfortunate. Hmm. That's super unfortunate. I did not want to be done here. But shoot. Guess I'm gonna take this bishop. I really thought that my deck was a little better than this. Wait, how much is this opulent worth? It's like one more than the small. This is worth 7 for 8. This is worth 8 for 8 actually. 10, 11, 12. Or I could just trash the haunted because it's worth 3 when I trash it. It's worth 3 if it's in my hand. There's like nothing else to trash, right? Also, if I trash both the lids, that doesn't work. I think I just trashed this. I was really surprised that I was done there. I think I just trashed the silver, right? Or should I trash like a sextant? Or a figurehead? And I'm not getting another turn, so it's just 8, 10. This could be. I mean, this is just a duchy, right? It's the max points that I'm gonna get. It's just like very. What my next hand? Oh, this. Sure, again a duchy because it's the same amount of points. Continue. Yeah, there's another shocks, but I guess my deck wasn't as good as I thought it would be. They need to do 2 provinces and a duchy. That's like very well within their full deck, but also I don't know if I get up against a full deck. And this dad was very unfortunate. I mean, I didn't even like the university gains didn't even matter, right? Like I didn't draw into my discard. So it wasn't bad university gains either. It's just my deck on the previous turn wasn't good enough apparently. Hmm. That's that like this hand like okay with like the good configuration of cards I could have probably drawn, but I also played pretty carelessly. Maybe I just didn't have enough Swamp Shocks in the deck. I'm just gonna let them play this out because I have no idea what's in their deck. So I have no idea if they're capable of even producing 21. They probably are, but like I won't learn until I get to see them do that. Yeah. I mean, maybe I should have gained another Haven. Like, maybe I should have gained the Jack, right? Like, that's just, hmm. It's just sad because, like, I knew that I have more points potential, right? Like, I knew that, like, my full deck probably can buy all of the castles. Like, it can probably produce 27. So, yeah. With, like, all of the castle shenanigans. And I don't think my opponent ever beats all the castles. Oh yeah, I guess I should have just like not gained the jack, gained another haven. Uh, and just like not play the bishop or something. Just have a little less points. Have two cards set aside and had a real hand. Or gain another swamp shocks even, like set aside a second of swamp shocks. Or like even two swamp shocks at that point because I have two cards in hand, yeah. It's like oh wait, they have bishops, right? Okay. I guess I will just like let them play it out because they're so close. Like they have all the opportunity in the world to just like click all the buttons and end the game. So I don't think I'm being rude here. Just like win. Yeah, I'm very sad about that, Dad, because I like these two blessed castles are more than 50 points, I think. Oh well. And that's the minion sometimes. Sometimes you just dud and then it doesn't go your way. Cathedral of Warehouse Tunnel. That's interesting. I'm I'm intrigued. Is minion as draw otherwise? Which I am definitely slamming Cathedral on this board on turn one. Like that's not even a consideration. I think we both have the perfect opening split. Just Cathedral, Blockade. I did draw the Blockade. My opponent buys a second Blockade, but they don't get one. Okay, so here is a big question of what do I actually want in my deck outside of these blockades? Could be a develop. I do want to develop. It's gonna be so sad. I need to throw a terminal in, is the problem here. Or not a terminal, a village in, and I don't know which kind of, because I'm gonna buy a blockade here. Right? I could blockade another blockade and then buy a landing party. It's just like my ability to village in that deck is not very good. Uh, that's okay. The blockades are going to develop into better cards, like minions and develops, and then you do some minion develop village shenanigans. Honestly, it's not even that bad to take curses in this kingdom just because of Cathedral. I don't think that's the case right now. Like right now, I think it's pretty bad to take curses still. I might take the curse anyway, though, here. Just because I think I need this. I think I need this Ironmonger card. I'm gonna grab a warehouse. It's actually not a bad hand for me. It's a perfect hand to get shuffled away, that's for sure. Actually, no, it's not a good hand to get shuffled away because now my Ironmonger never hits. That's pretty bad that my Ironmonger never hits. Once I get to develop, it's like, yeah. I've blockaded all the cards that my opponent wants. So at least there's that. Well, here we have a problem, right? Like I know what the cards at the bottom are. None of them lets me play multiple blockades. And even if I warehouse through, that is like the most annoying kind of like. That is like the weirdest kind of minion attack because it threw away a bad hand, and it was like actively bad for me because now Ironmonger reveals all the bad cards. That's super strange. I can't do anything about Ironmonger revealing all of those bad cards, so I guess I'm just gonna have to. Oh my god, that's the worst one too. I wanted to buy an Ironmonger so badly here because of how inconsistent this village effect is. Right, well, I think you're taking two curses now. If I ever hit anything, oh my. My goodness. Like, I mean, it's like about 25% chance for this to happen, right? It's like I just really wanted to double blockade an Ironmonger this turn. Because I really did not want to take curses to get the rest of the Ironmongers. Because now my opponent can, like, even double blockade it. I mean, I'm just gonna have to take the curses, I think, too. It's just, like... And then I'm just gonna hit the curses and I'm gonna be very sad. Never mind. This village sucks. What? Are are you trying to tell me something, Dominion? I don't understand this. I, Alright, I guess I'll see how far can we go without an action reveal. As that was a little outrageous. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't a fan of that. No. That's terrible. I mean, maybe I'm supposed to rely on landing party more, but like it does have about a 50% chance to do the right thing. Yes. All right, let's go. You did something, Ironmonger. I'm proud. I'm just gonna gain that curse anyway. Let's see. Pitch that. Think I have to blockade the landing party too. I could technically grab changelings or something, but I think I also want to like get rid of some fours, which would probably be blockades, and turn them into fives. And just like go off on develop. My opponent has a lot more minions than me. Oh wait, they can just win. Right, I'd not consider that they can just win. Yeah, okay, that could happen, I guess. I was incredibly frustrating. Revealing copper about like or revealing a non-action about 7 times when I really needed an action each time. Yeah, okay. What's the game? Alright, I am probably a little tilted, so I will probably not play particularly well this kingdom, and that's fine. Um, yeah, and this kingdom is... You know what? I'm kind of tilted. There's no attacks. I don't really see a good way to build an engine here, except for like maybe nobles. And sculptor money is pretty good, and then I can trust some nobles into it. And I know there is a chapel, but honestly I didn't like that card to begin with. And there's city gate to help me smooth out my money draws. Yeah, okay. I'm down. I guess there's colonies, so maybe I'm not down. Hmm, that's very annoying. I mm, I don't like this. I could open Goatherd Chapel and then just like I could open Goatherd Silver and just say I don't like Chapel, but I don't know if that's any right. Like I don't know if that has any right to work. Probably doesn't. I don't see this like this Chapel stuff is gonna have to play Village as Nobles as Village, and it's just like gonna be very unexciting when it happens. Because like you just don't have terminal space for all of this stuff. I could open with like a Death Guard and try. No, I can't hit 9 of that. I can't. Okay, so I can't hit Plat of that. So I don't think that's very worth. I mean, Death Guard City Gate. Like, how bad is that really? It's probably pretty damn bad. I think I'm a fan of like Goatherd Silver. I'm gonna grab a silver here. Uh, just not gonna indicate to my opponent that I'm skipping Chapel. What is that? Okay, well, I'm not gonna grab a Goatherd if my opponent's not gonna grab a Chapel, so, What on earth was that? Oh, because it lets them reshuffle here? I don't know the Furion City Gate openings. Okay, I'll admit that, but that's fuck off. Like, come on, this is not fair. That is just not fair. Like there is no way that's your average draw. It's just, oh my god. I just okay, whatever. There is zero chance that that's your average draw. That you just draw Chapel on turn. What is this? This has to be like hits the 1 and 6. God damn it! It's just like I don't even know if I'm supposed to get mad about this because then there are 6 cards and they don't get the chap to play a Chapel next turn, so it probably doesn't matter, right? Like that's what's actually happening. Yeah, so it didn't matter if this was turn 3 or turn 4. Yep. Okay. So why am I getting mad about this? Yeah. Okay. No, this is a very good question. Why am I getting mad about this? Where it's clearly the same thing. If like it just looks very intimidating. Okay. I mean, I'm probably playing a terrible strategy. Is the thing. So, um, yeah, my opponent has an upper hand on me on that side. I think they were considering like not trashing with Chapel on this hand though, because this is very likely my Goatherd hand. Okay, well, glad they did because I did find the Goatherd, and I am just gonna take the pieces that they need to be able to function as an engine and just like delete them. Oh, that's an interesting idea. That does like make my Goatherds actually good though. Mm, I can trip that. Very nice. Because they really do need nobles in order to function as an engine. So, yeah, I am very happy to just buy nobles and throw them into the void. Because they're like very mediocre in my deck at best. But that's okay because me getting nobles means them not getting nobles. And good luck building an engine here without villages. I mean, there is a ruined village, I guess. Were they like actually fishing for plus buy of that? Is that a better plus buy than a Galleria? There's no way that's a better plus buy than a Galleria of like sculpture around. You can gain silvers. Yeah, I'm not gonna believe that that's a better plus buy than a Galleria. Also, my Goatherd drew 4 cards into play, so I'm very happy with that. Or 5 cards? Right. Good luck playing the noble. I'm just gonna buy nobles on every occasion that I have from now on, I think. Just to blow up my opponent's deck, because like you're not gonna play an engine on 4 nobles here. And I should hit nobles every time, because my deck is very clean of, or it has 7 coppers in it, but it also is very likely to hit 6 at any given occasion. That clearly doesn't hit anything. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep buying nobles. Let your deck spin into the abyss. Okay, I don't need this platinum this turn. So I'm just gonna reveal a silver to gain a gold. And just keep buying the only card that makes your deck playable. And good luck. So you trashed, right? So I can totally do this. I think I could trigger here. Don't really have a plus buy. Don't really see a point in wasting a villager, actually. All I want to do is buy nobles anyway. Like, yeah, this is like making sure that my opponent's deck cannot function. It's like really making sure. If they buy 2 nobles, I'm actually kind of relieved, because that means I can proceed with my own game plan of buying colonies and platinum. I mean, they can try pillaging me, but it's like, I don't see how they draw cards at any point. Like, they only have 2 nobles in their deck, so one of them gets played for plus actions, and then I guess that's why they're trying to stockpile on actions now. But they're not doing that. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna play this for plus cards. I could play this for plus actions now. Let's grab another platinum. I mean, maybe they can build to something that beats me here. Like, maybe this just beats me. It doesn't look like it beats me. Eight, 11. Okay. Well, I will take 11. I think. I think I'm supposed to take 11. A big question to me is, am I supposed to trash this estate? I think the answer is no. I've really just decided that I am not have I haven't been pleased with previous games, so I'm going to ruin my opponent's life in this one. Like, while playing a completely mediocre money deck. Uh, yeah, that sounds very appropriate, actually. Dwarf cards is just like, oh no, it's action looter. Okay, that's that's something. Yes. Hey, I think we're done here, right? This is just 11 again. Yep. I mean, I am 2 colonies up. I will take that as an advantage. Yeah, no, if my opponent can gain play a pillage, sure. I I don't think that their deck has any potential though, with like having to use actions on draw and on actions. It's like they only can ever play a 7 card hand at best, right? That is what they need to be doing. That can involve gain and play, I suppose, but the gain and play is very card negative in this kingdom, so I don't know. Uh, that is 8. I'll take 8. And they have to. I have 2 platinum, right? Yeah, I bought a second platinum. Mm. Yo, my courtier actually hits. I could do +3 coins plus buy here. Try to keep going. Did you trash a card? Yeah, you did. Alright, well that was overkill. That was a big overkill on hitting 27 there. But then I just like need to hit colony at any point of this game now, which is like sure. I am just gonna buy a province here again. Because I do not see a reason why not. Hmm. No, 7 that hits 10. This 8, I just need to draw 3. Okay. There we go. Warning, possibly lost connection with game server. I saw the message, so hopefully not. Alright, well, that is a strategy that worked, I guess. Oh, Silk Merchant board. Okay, and there's advance for it. Yay. I didn't draw quite the right split here, I think. I think this is a lot of buying Silk Merchant and you really want to put a plant token on it, but I didn't quite get to, neither did my opponent though, so that's fine. Yep, I agree. I am planning on buying Silk Merchant as well. Quite a bit, in fact. My god. That's a draw. Yes, that is a draw. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was something better for me in these turns. But I just like want to maximize plus buy and hopefully doing something with it, right? Like advance the silk merchant into border village and alright, well I better grab the last two silk merchants because there are not gonna be any left. Nope. Not allowed. Okay. Yeah, this is the only plus buy card. So I could like try to go off that to hopefully just keep more plus buy than my opponent and just buy the cheap cards and advance them into border villages. Wah, wah. It's just I just really wanted border village, I think. This is a very quick kingdom and it's gonna end very quickly and my opponent has more tokens and more good cards in their deck, so they're probably winning, is what's happening. And they also are going first. So they are probably very much winning, aren't they? Oh, they drew deck. Yeah, it means they're probably winning. What's the other card? It's a Silk Merchant, right? That's the card that they didn't play. Because they only trashed once so far, yeah. And even have more Silk Merchants. So I only get to have 4. Yeah, the question is, am I willing to spend my plus buy on that? I think I'm willing to give away 1 plus buy here. Never trashing these. I could trash these coppers. I don't think I'm supposed to. Yeah, I'm supposed to advance both of these. I could buy a plan. No, I don't think that makes any sense. Am I buying a courtyard? Am I grabbing a second Sooth? Sure. Could buy and expand. It's like a lot of ways to not draw cards. Kinda want a dungeon, because I don't think I'm gaining and playing. Just gonna grab 2 dungeons. Yeah, opponent has a little more plus buy. My god. I do not like this hand. Yeah, no, if going double Soothsayer makes any sense. I really want to load my deck with gold, though, at this point. I mean, maybe I should have planned on a Soothsayer. Yeah, that was probably the turn, right? I should have planned on Soothsayer and then spent my coffer on like a Vagrant or a Ratcatcher on a Courtyard or whatever, and trash 2 coppers. But would have been pretty damn good. Kind of want an expand now, too. And this might be the only turn where I get to draw a deck, really. May even not get to draw a deck. I think my opponent gets to draw a deck for like at least 1 more turn over me. Maybe I should have put some Courtyards in the deck. I mean, I could plan on Courtyards and then buy like 2 or 3 this turn. It's just I do have this playstyle of like I'm trying to do the same thing that you're doing, but more. Yeah, my opponent plans on dungeon. Give me a village, thank you. I don't really get to. Alright, well, I am just going to do this. 3, 4, 5. And just like put 2 dungeons in play, which means my next turn is probably terrible again, but I mean I did like pseudo trash these coppers too, so it's like for this turn, I guess. Only for this turn. That's probably not ideal that I did that only for this turn. Because if I have another dungeon, then I actually get to pseudo trash the coppers, but nah, I should have probably grabbed the dungeon then. Wow. Yeah, well, this reaches a little further. Right. Oh, this is up to 6. Whoops. No, I want to go here. Sorry. Yeah, I guess I get to be buying an expand. That's very exciting. Also, my deck is kind of terrible now. Spanned by this Courtyard. Photographer. Huh. That's a hand that I deserve. Yes, that kind of checks out. There you go. My opponent's saving me. I mean, if I draw the dungeons near the top, it's maybe playable? Question mark. Big question mark. A lot of question marks actually. A lot of question marks. Oh, my opponent just gets to buy free curses and win. They're probably not gonna miss that too. Maybe they will. No, no, they don't miss that kind of things. Yeah, okay. Was just. I mean, I had no business winning that game. All right, well, that's the match. Phika beats me 4-2. Honestly, not too bad. I kind of expected a little worse. Good luck in the rest of the season. All right, that's me. I'm gonna log off. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next match. Bye.